Hello and welcome to this video, which is the most comprehensive single video on the condition tinnitus. The video will cover everything you need to know about tinnitus, the symptoms, the cause and treatment, looking at conventional medicine and some great ways using natural and alternative therapies. Now, it will also give you the information you need to help you live with the condition to make life livable and enjoyable again. Now the video is quite long, it needs to be to cover everything you need to know about tinnitus. But to help and for those who are looking at specific topics on tinnitus, I've included chapters so you can skip or go straight to the chapter you need to see. When it comes to causes, there are over 14 we go over in this video, and I bet that one of them you would not have guessed could actually be a possible cause of tinnitus. When it comes to the treatment, there are so many options out there. I've also included one that many of you probably haven't heard about before or tried even, but it works if carried out correctly for everyone. Yes, seriously, I don't know anyone who hasn't benefited from using this. That's to come. For now though, let's get going with the video. Okay, first I just want to go over what sound actually is, how we hear something. You see, the process of sound perception begins with the production of sound waves by a source such as someone speaking to you. These waves propagate through the air and are intercepted by the auricle, also known as the pinna, which funnels them into the ear canal. The sound waves then reach the tympanic membrane, also known as the eardrum, which vibrates in response. This vibration is transmitted to the ossicles, a chain of three small bones consisting of the malleus, incus and stapes, which serve to amplify the sound and transmit it to the cochlea. Now the cochlea is a fluid-filled organ of the inner ear, is spiral-shaped and responsible for converting the mechanical energy of sound waves into neural signals. It contains hair cells, which are sensory cells, transduce the mechanical vibrations into electrical signals via the movement of the hair bundles. These hair bundles are sensitive to different frequencies of sound and are arranged in a tonotopic manner, meaning that the hair cells at the base of the cochlea respond to high-pitched sounds, while those near the apex respond to low-pitched sounds. The electrical signals generated by the hair cells are then conveyed to the brain via the auditory nerve, where they are processed and interpreted as sound. The ability to recognize and understand sounds is dependent on the proper functioning of this complex system of sound transduction and neural processing. So that's how we actually hear something. So what happens when it all goes wrong with tinnitus? Let's have a look and we'll get into this now. Tinnitus symptoms, causes and treatment. See, tinnitus is a condition characterized by ringing, buzzing or other noises in the ears that are not caused by any external sounds. It affects millions of people worldwide and can range from a minor annoyance to a real debilitating condition. In this video, we'll discuss the symptoms, the causes and treatment options for tinnitus. I will also go over some alternative solutions that work better than any of the conventional ways that I've said it. I believe this though, I really do. Now, I have to add my disclaimer here. This is just my own opinion. I'm not a doctor. I don't wear a stethoscope or a doctor's smock, you know, like chiropractors or others on YouTube. You should always seek the opinion of a proper doctor. Okay, let's get on with it. So, symptoms of tinnitus, a quick overview of what tinnitus, I keep saying, but it's tinnitus or tinnitus, depending which way you want to say it. Let's see what it actually is. As I said, the most common symptom of tinnitus is a ringing, buzzing or other noise in the ears. Now this noise, it can vary in pitch and volume and can be constant or intermittent. Other symptoms or problems related through tinnitus or tinnitus may include difficulty sleeping, difficulty concentrating, headaches, depression, anxiety, dizziness or vertigo. So what are the causes of tinnitus? You see, tinnitus can have a variety of causes, including exposure to loud noise, which is what most people think about when it comes to tinnitus. You know, prolonged exposure to loud noise can damage the hair cells in the inner ear, leading to the condition tinnitus, which is, as I say, characterized by it's the perception of sound, but there's no actual real sound from an external source anyway. One of the most common causes of tinnitus is damage to the hair cells, as you can see in the image here. These are in the inner ear, which can occur as a result of prolonged exposure to loud noise. Now, the inner ear is made up of several structures, including the cochlea, a spiral-shaped organ that contains the hair cells responsible for detecting sound. Now, these hair cells are responsible for converting sound waves into electrical signals that are then sent to the brain, where they are interpreted as sound. When the hair cells are exposed to loud noise, they can become damaged or even destroyed. Now, this can occur as a result of a single very loud noise or as a result of prolonged exposure to loud noise, such as loud music, industrial noise or gunfire. When the hair cells are damaged or destroyed, they are not able to be repaired or regenerated by the body, which means that the damage is permanent. Now, as a result of this damage, the brain may continue to receive electrical signals from the damaged hair cells, even in the absence of sound. Now, these signals can be interpreted as phantom sounds, as a ringing or buzzing or hissing, which are characteristic of, say, tinnitus. Now, the loudness, duration and frequency of the noise exposure will determine the extent of the hair cell damage and the severity of the tinnitus that you get. Middle ear infections such as otitis media can cause tinnitus. The middle ear is the space behind the eardrum and it's connected to the back of the throat by the eustachian tube. Otitis media is an infection of the middle ear, typically caused by bacteria or viruses. When an individual has an infection in the middle ear, the infection can cause inflammation and swelling of the structures within the middle ear, such as the eardrum and the ossicles, which are the small bones that transmit sound vibration from the eardrum to the inner ear. The inflammation and the swelling can cause a buildup of fluid within the middle ear, which is known as middle ear effusion. Now, this can cause a number of symptoms, including ear pain, hearing loss, and tinnitus. One of the main ways that middle ear infections can cause tinnitus is through the buildup of fluid in the middle ear. Now, this fluid can put pressure on the eardrum and ossicles, which can cause them to vibrate in a way that creates phantom sounds, such as the ringing, the buzzing, or the hissing. Additionally, the infection can cause inflammation in the cochlea, the spiral-shaped organ in the inner ear, which actually contains the hair cells that detect the sound in the first place. Now, this inflammation can damage or even destroy the hair cells, which then can lead to permanent hearing loss and tinnitus, as explained earlier. Now, another cause is earwax buildup. You see, excess earwax, also known as cerumen, can block the ear canal and cause tinnitus. The ear canal is the passageway that connects the outer ear to the eardrum, and it is lined with small hair follicles and glands that produce earwax. Now, earwax plays an important role in keeping the ear canal clean and healthy, but an excessive buildup of earwax can lead to problems. When the ear canal is blocked by earwax, it can cause a number of symptoms, including earache, difficulty hearing, and tinnitus. Now, the blockage of the ear canal can cause a change in the pressure within the ear, which can lead to the eardrum and ossicles, the small bones within the middle ear, to vibrate in a way that creates phantom sounds, again, such as the buzzing, hissing, and ringing. This is the same mechanism as how middle ear infections can cause tinnitus. Additionally, the blockage of the ear canal can also cause damage to the hair cells in the inner ear, which are responsible, as we've said, for detecting the sound itself. Now, when earwax presses on the hair cells, it can cause them to become damaged or even destroyed, which can then lead to permanent hearing loss and tinnitus. So in summary, really, with excess earwax, although it can block the ear canal and cause tinnitus by changing pressure within the ear and leading to vibrations in the eardrum on ossicles, as well as by pressing on the hair cells in the inner ear, leading to damage and tinnitus. Now, it can actually be a temporary tinnitus problem, which will go away if your ears are cleared. Now, it's important to have excessive earwax removed by a healthcare professional to prevent complications and damage. Do not use cotton buds or cotton swabs, as they are called, if you don't speak the same English like myself. You're the other side of the sea. Okay, moving on, Meniere's disease. Now, this inner ear disorder can cause tinnitus as well as vertigo and hearing loss. Meniere's disease is an inner ear disorder that as I say, can cause vertigo as well as the hearing loss. So it's a complex structure, is the inner ear, that's responsible for both hearing and balance. Now, Meniere's disease is a chronic condition that affects the inner ear and the fluid-filled structures known as the labyrinth. Now, the exact cause of Meniere's disease is not actually known, but it is thought to be related to an abnormal accumulation of fluid in the inner ear. Now, this fluid buildup can cause an increase in pressure within the inner ear itself, which can lead then again to the destruction of the delicate hair cells that are responsible for detecting the sound. Now, this destruction can lead to permanent hearing loss and tinnitus. In addition to this, Meniere's disease can also affect the vestibular system, which is responsible for maintaining balance. Now, the accumulation of fluid in the inner ear can cause the vestibular system to become overactive, leading to vertigo, a sensation of spinning or dizziness, and nystagmus, a rhythmic movement of the eyes. So to summarise on Meniere's disease, it is an inner ear disorder that can cause, let's say, the tinnitus, vertigo and hearing loss, and it's caused by the accumulation of the fluid in the inner ear and damage to the hair cells and overactivity of the vestibular system, which affects your balance. So, as I say, it's a chronic condition. It's not going to go away, but you really do need to have it diagnosed properly and get medical advice for this. Now, tinnitus can be a symptom of certain cardiovascular conditions, such as high blood pressure or atherosclerosis. Cardiovascular conditions refer to the diseases that affect the heart and blood vessels. Now, high blood pressure, also known as hypertension, is a condition which the force of the blood against the walls of the arteries is too high. Atherosclerosis is a condition which the walls of the arteries become thickened and hardened due to the buildup of fatty deposits known as plaque. Now, high blood pressure can cause tinnitus by increasing the blood flow to the inner ear, which can lead to the destruction of the delicate hair cells that are responsible, as I say, for detecting the sound. This destruction can lead to permanent hearing loss. Additionally, hypertension can lead to the formation of small aneurysms in the blood vessels that supply the inner ear, leading to the same result. Now, atherosclerosis, on the other hand, can cause tinnitus by actually reducing the blood flow to the inner ear. As the plaques build up in the blood vessels, they can narrow the vessels, making it harder for blood to actually flow through them. This reduced blood flow can lead to a lack of oxygen and nutrients to the hair cells within the inner ear, which in turn then can cause them to be damaged or even destroyed, leading to permanent hearing loss and tinnitus. So really, in summary, tinnitus can be a symptom of certain cardiovascular conditions such as the high blood pressure and atherosclerosis. High blood pressure can cause tinnitus by increasing blood flow to the inner ear, leading to the destruction of the cells. And the atherosclerosis can cause tinnitus by reducing blood flow to the inner ear, leading to damage or destruction of the hair cells. It's important to seek medical advice and manage underlying cardiovascular conditions anyway, to reduce the risk of tinnitus, but obviously other associated conditions as well. Certain medications can cause tinnitus as a side effect. These medications include certain antibiotics, antidepressants, and aspirin. The mechanism by which these medications cause tinnitus is not fully understood. It is thought that they may have a toxic effect on the hair cells in the inner ear, leading to the damage or destruction of them. So, certain antibiotics such as aminoglycosides, which are commonly used to treat bacterial infections, have been known to cause tinnitus as a side effect. These antibiotics can damage the hair cells in the inner ear, again leading to the permanent hearing loss and tinnitus. Certain antidepressants such as selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, SSRIs, and tricyclic antidepressants can also cause tinnitus as a side effect. These medications can affect the levels of neurotransmitters such as serotonin and norepinephrine in the brain, which can lead to changes in the way that the brain processes sound. This can result in the perception of phantom sounds such as the ringing, buzzing and hissing, again the characteristic of tinnitus. Aspirin, or a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, again can cause tinnitus as a side effect. You see, aspirin can cause the damage to the hair cells in the inner ear, leading to the permanent damage and hearing loss and tinnitus. So in summary, as I say, you've got to be careful with certain medications. Always discuss them with your own doctor and make sure that they're aware of the side effects, and you're aware of the side effects when you start a new medication. Now later in the treatments there can also be a way to treat as well, which is a bit puzzling but not unusual in the medicine and how it works. It can have two ways of working on the human body, in a positive and negative way. Now, head and neck injuries. Trauma to the head and neck, such as skull fracture or whiplash, can cause tinnitus. Trauma to the head and neck can cause damage to the structures of the inner ear, including the cochlea, again, which is responsible for detecting the sound, and the vestibular system, which is responsible for maintaining balance. Now, this damage can lead to the perception of phantom sounds, such as the ringing and the buzzing again, of tinnitus. A skull fracture, which is a break in the skull bones that can be caused by a blow to the head or a fall. A skull fracture can cause damage to the inner ear by directly impacting the cochlea or by causing a concussion, which is a type of traumatic brain injury. The injury can damage the hair cells in the inner ear, leading to permanent hearing loss and tinnitus again. Now, one that's quite a common one is whiplash. It's a type of injury that occurs when the head is suddenly jerked rapidly forward and backward, such as in a car accident. Whiplash can cause damage to the structures of the inner ear, including the cochlea and the vestibular system. Now, this damage can lead to the perception of phantom sounds such as ringing, buzzing or hissing, again tinnitus. So in summary, trauma to the head and neck such as skull fracture or whiplash can cause tinnitus by damaging the structures of the inner ear, including the cochlea and the vestibular system. So, are they permanent? Not always, but they can be. So you do need, of course, medical advice from your own medical practitioner. Now, one that I did a video on recently, whether it's permanent or not is another thing, but orgasm. Well, yes, in a previous video I looked at this and, although it may be a temporary tinnitus and deafness through orgasm, it's really how orgasm affects the body in relation to blood pressure, which is a case of who knows if this is or could lead to permanent tinnitus. We never really know. But it's an unusual one and one I hadn't come across until recently. Okay, treatment options for tinnitus. You see, treatment for tinnitus now will depend very much on the underlying cause. Some possible treatment options include, although this list is not exhaustive, there are also some alternative ones that will work even better in my opinion. The first one we're looking at is noise suppression. White noise machines or ear level sound generators can help to mask the noise of tinnitus. So by introducing external sounds can mask or cover up the tinnitus sounds. White noise machines or ear level sound generators produce a constant low level background noise that can help to reduce the perceived loudness of tinnitus. Now the sound generated by these devices can be customized to match the individual's tinnitus frequency, making it more effective in masking the tinnitus sounds. Now this type of treatment can help to improve sleep, concentration and overall quality of life for those who have tinnitus. White noise machines and ear level sound generators can be used in a variety of settings such as at home, at work or while travelling. Some devices can be portable and can be worn inside the ear, while others can be placed in a room to provide a background noise for a larger area. There are also various options for the type of sound generated, such as white noise, pink noise, brown noise or nature sounds. Some devices also have the ability to customize the volume and frequency of the sound. Now it's important to note that while noise suppression can be effective in this way to manage tinnitus, it may not be a cure. It's also not suitable for everyone and should be used in conjunction with other treatments such as cognitive behavioural therapy and sound therapy. Overall, white noise machines and ear level sound generators can be a helpful tool for those who experience tinnitus. As I say, giving this background noise, some find it absolutely fantastic. It really does, reduce the perceived loudness of tinnitus for them, improving obviously the overall quality of life. However, it's important to discuss really with your healthcare professional before using these types of devices as a treatment for tinnitus. Hearing aids. If tinnitus is caused by hearing loss, which is a big, probably the number one cause of tinnitus, they can help to amplify external sounds and reduce the perception of tinnitus. Now, hearing aids are devices that amplify external sounds for individuals with hearing loss. Now, they work by using a microphone to pick up sounds from the environment, amplifying them, and then delivering them to the ear through a speaker. This can help to improve a person's ability to hear and understand speech, as well as reduce the perception of tinnitus, the ringing and the buzzing. Now, noise suppression is a feature that can be found in some hearing aids. It works by reducing background noise and focusing on the speech signal. This can be especially helpful in environments such as where there's lots of background noise, such as a busy street or a crowded restaurant. The hearing aid uses advanced algorithms to identify and eliminate background noise while preserving the speech signal. So this improves the signal to noise ratio, making it easier for the user to actually hear and understand speech. Now, medications, certain medications such as antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications can help to alleviate the symptoms of tinnitus. And as we looked at earlier, they can also cause them. So these medications work by modifying the levels of certain neurotransmitters in the brain, which are chemical messengers that help to regulate mood and other cognitive functions. Antidepressants such as selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, SSRIs, and tricyclic antidepressants, TCAs, work by increasing the levels of serotonin and noradrenaline in the brain. These neurotransmitters are known to play a role in regulating mood, and increasing their levels can help to reduce feelings of anxiety and depression. See, anti-anxiety medications such as benzodiazepines and beta blockers work by reducing the activity of certain neurotransmitters and receptors in the brain that are involved in the stress response. This can help to reduce feelings of anxiety and tension, which can be common symptoms of tinnitus. Now, it's important to note that these medications may work differently for different individuals, and it may take some trial and error to find the most effective treatment for you. Also, it's always important to discuss with your doctor before taking any medications for it to make sure it's safe and proper for you to use and taking into account any of the conditions you may have. Now, cognitive behavioural therapy, CBT, is a type of psychotherapy that can help to reduce the emotional distress associated with tinnitus. The goal of CBT is to help individuals change the negative thoughts and beliefs they have about tinnitus and teach them coping strategies to manage their symptoms. You see, CBT for tinnitus typically includes several components. First one is looking at the education about tinnitus, such as this video. This includes information about the causes and mechanisms of tinnitus, as well as reassurance that is a common condition and not a sign of a serious underlying problem in most cases. Now, identifying and challenging negative thoughts and beliefs about tinnitus. You see, CBT therapists who help individuals identify and challenge negative thoughts and beliefs they have about tinnitus, such as my tinnitus will never get better, or my tinnitus is a sign of a serious illness. It is highly unlikely. The percentages are less than 1%. It really is not the usual cause of problems. Relaxation techniques. CBT therapists teach individuals relaxation techniques such as deep breathing and progressive muscle relaxation. This can help them to manage feelings of the anxiety and tension. Habituation exercises. These are designed to help individuals reduce the attention they pay to their tinnitus by gradually increasing their exposure to background noise, such as a fan or a white noise machine. Problem solving and goal setting. CBT therapists work with individuals to identify specific problems related to their tinnitus and to set goals for addressing them. So you see, CBT for tinnitus has been shown to be effective in reducing the emotional distress and disability associated with tinnitus in several randomized controlled trials. The mechanisms underlying these effects are thought to involve changes in the way that individuals process and attend to their tinnitus, as well as changes in the neural networks involved in the emotional processing of tinnitus itself. It's important to note that the effectiveness of CBT may vary depending on the individual and the specific CBT program used. It's also important to work with a qualified therapist who has experience in treating tinnitus, because although it can be a great way to help, it can be a really costly one if you're going privately, which most will be. You need to make sure you get the right one. Now, tinnitus retraining therapy. This type of therapy uses a combination of counselling and low-level noise exposure to help the brain to relearn how to ignore the noise of tinnitus. It's a form of treatment, say, that help the people manage the tinnitus. TRT typically involves a combination of counselling and sound therapy. The counselling component of TRT is designed to provide individuals with information about tinnitus and ways to manage it. This may include education, again, about the causes and mechanisms of tinnitus, as well as strategies for coping with the conditions such as relaxation techniques, stress management, and lifestyle changes. Now, the sound therapy component of TRT involves the use of low-level background sounds, such as white noise, to help mask or reduce the perceived loudness of tinnitus. The goal of sound therapy is to help the individual habituate to the tinnitus, which means to reduce the brain's response to the tinnitus over time. This is done by providing a competing sound that the brain can focus on instead of the tinnitus. Now, the underlying mechanism of TRT is based on the concept of neuroplasticity, which refers to the ability of the brain to adapt and change the response to new information or experiences. Now, providing individuals with counselling and sound therapy, TRT is thought to help retrain the brain to habituate to the tinnitus, which can lead to a reduction in symptoms over time. It's important to know that TRT is not a cure for tinnitus, but it can help individuals manage their symptoms and improve their quality of life. It's also can be a very expensive way to go about things, and that's why you'll see lots of audiologists promoting this trying to get you to do their courses, it can be a really costly way to treat your tinnitus, but I have to say it can be an effective way as well, because it can take several months for the therapy to have an effect. Now, in some cases, tinnitus can be caused by an underlying medical condition that requires treatment. For example, if tinnitus is caused by high blood pressure, treating the high blood pressure will often alleviate the tinnitus. Alternative and complementary therapies. It's also important to note that there are many alternative and complementary therapies that may be helpful in managing the symptoms of tinnitus. Now, these include such as acupuncture, the traditional Chinese medicine technique involving the insertion of thin needles into the specific points on the body to stimulate the flow of energy and to promote healing. Some studies have shown that acupuncture may be effective in reducing tinnitus symptoms. There's certain herbal supplements, certain herbs such as ginkgo biloba and melatonin may be helpful in reducing tinnitus symptoms. However, it's important to speak with a healthcare professional before taking any herbal supplements, as they can interact with other medications and may have serious side effects. So you really do need to make sure that if you're on other medication, that you check with your own healthcare professional first. Now, this is the one that this makes a massive change to people's lives in many ways. I think it's something I do promote a lot, and you know, the way that it's helped people with tinnitus and lots of other problems as well is incredible. And it is yoga and meditation. Now, these practices can help to reduce stress, improve sleep, and promote overall well-being, which can help to alleviate tinnitus symptoms. And this is the thing with yoga and meditation. They can actually cost nothing to do. There's loads of YouTube. Make sure you get the right ones. I think I'll put some links to some really good ones below. But also, I think meditation is something I've practiced for many years as a natural health therapist. And okay, it takes practice, but it doesn't cost anything. There's lots. I'll put a link to a video that you can watch to help you get underway. It really can make a massive difference. So let's have a look. Sound therapy, we mentioned before. This type of therapy involves the use of sound, such as the white noise, which helps to mask the symptoms of tinnitus. It can be helpful in reducing the perceived loudness of tinnitus. It won't make it go away, but it can certainly help. There's been some great success with it. And I've known people that use the ones for under the pillow because it tends to be prevalent, even more prevalently tinnitus when you're trying to sleep. So, now in addition to these remedies and treatment, there are some more unusual, which I feature in some of the videos. I'll put the links to them in the description because they work and cost nothing, apart from myself looking a bit stupid demonstrating them, but who cares? As long as they work, and they do. I mean, the response back has been really good, really positive, can make a difference. Now, one that we're also told by doctors, our healthcare professionals, lifestyle changes. Now, this is put to us about many health conditions, but it is another way to prevent or lessen the effects of tinnitus. Sorry to say that to some of you, it's how you live your life. You have options here, continue as you are, or make lifestyle changes. These can be implemented to help manage the symptoms of tinnitus. Now, these include reducing stress. Stress can worsen tinnitus symptoms so much. It's important to engage in stress-reducing activities such as yoga, meditation, or exercise. Now, I've included some resources to help you with these in the description. Another aspect of help for tinnitus is hypnosis. This can be either self-hypnosis or actually having personal hypnotherapy sessions, or online hypnotherapy, which can work equally as well and not as costly as going to see somebody for regular hypnotherapy sessions. Now, managing your diet. Some studies have shown that a diet high in salt, caffeine and alcohol can worsen tinnitus symptoms. Eating a healthy diet, limiting your intake of these substances, can be beneficial. Now, there is a conflict here in my own beliefs because, you see, I'm a big advocate of the keto diet, which I won't go into too much detail here. There's I have other videos and help guides on this channel. The fact is, though, that eliminating sugar intake and reducing carbohydrates can reduce and change the way the body and inflammation within. This in turn helps lots of health conditions, including tinnitus. I've put links to the videos in the description because it works incredibly well. It really does. Now, sleep. Sleep is so important. Maintaining a constant sleep schedule. Lack of sleep can worsen tinnitus symptoms, so it is important to maintain a consistent sleep schedule and to practice good sleep hygiene. You see, lack of sleep can worsen symptoms of tinnitus so much as it can lead to fatigue and increased stress levels, both of which can exacerbate tinnitus symptoms. One of the reasons why a consistent sleep schedule is important is that it helps regulate the body's circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm is the internal biological clock that controls the timing of various psychological processes, including sleep. When a person maintains a consistent sleep schedule, it helps to synchronize the circadian rhythm, which can improve the quality of sleep and reduce the severity of tinnitus symptoms. Additionally, good sleep hygiene practices such as avoiding stimulating activities before bed, limiting exposure to screens, and creating a comfortable sleep. If you can create this environment, it can help improve sleep quality and reduce tinnitus symptoms a lot. Now, from a scientific standpoint, tinnitus is a complex phenomenon, and the specific mechanism by which it is related to sleep are not fully understood. However, studies have shown that people with tinnitus tend to have disruptions in their sleep patterns, such as difficulty falling asleep, difficulty staying asleep, and non-restorative sleep. These disruptions in sleep can lead to increased fatigue, stress, and irritability, all of which can exacerbate tinnitus symptoms. Additional studies have found that tinnitus is associated with changes in brain activity during sleep, including increased activity in the certain brain regions involved in the processing of sound. By maintaining a consistent sleep schedule and practicing good sleep hygiene, it may help to reduce these disruptions in sleep and brain activity, thus reducing tinnitus symptoms. Now, wearing earplugs. Wearing earplugs in loud environments can help to prevent further damage to the hair cells in the inner ear and reduce tinnitus. You see, the inner ear contains the tiny hair cells that we've mentioned many times and are a big cause of tinnitus. They're responsible for converting sound waves into the electrical signals that are sent to the brain. These hair cells are delicate, really delicate, and can be damaged by exposure to loud noise, which can lead to hearing loss and tinnitus. So, when you wear earplugs in loud environments, it helps to reduce the amount of sound that reaches the inner ear, which can help to prevent further damage to the hair cells. Now, this is because the earplugs are designed to lower the decibel level that reaches the ear canal, thus reducing the impact of loud noise on the hair cells. Additionally, earplugs can also help to reduce tinnitus symptoms by blocking out external noise that may be contributing to the tinnitus. For example, if a person with tinnitus is exposed to a loud noise, the sound can make the tinnitus more noticeable and more bothersome. By wearing earplugs, it can help to block out the external noise, thus reducing the perceived loudness of the tinnitus. Now, from a scientific standpoint, tinnitus is a complex phenomenon, as I've said, and the specific mechanism by which it is related to noise-induced hearing loss are not fully understood. However, studies have shown that exposure to loud noise can damage the hair cells in the inner ear, and this damage can lead to hearing loss and tinnitus. Additionally, studies have also shown that people with tinnitus tend to have more abnormal activity in the auditory pathways of the brain, which can be exacerbated by exposure to even more loud noise. So by wearing earplugs in loud environments, it may help prevent that further damage to those hair cells and reduce the abnormal activity in the auditory pathways of the brain, so reducing the tinnitus symptoms. Now, this is one which many of you should do anyway, and especially now that more people are sitting at, as I'm saying, in front of the computer all day long, practicing good posture. You see, good posture can improve blood flow to the ears and help to reduce tinnitus. You see, the blood flow to the ears by reducing pressure on the blood vessels that supply the ears with the blood. This increased blood flow can help reduce the symptoms of tinnitus. One of the possible causes of tinnitus is poor blood flow to the ears. This can occur due to a variety of factors such as atherosclerosis, hardening of the arteries, as we mentioned, hypertension, the high blood pressure, and poor posture. When the blood vessels that supply the ears with blood are constricted or compressed, it can lead to a reduction in blood flow to the ears themselves, which can then lead to tinnitus. So good posture, on the other hand, can help to promote better blood flow to the ears, reducing the pressure on the blood vessels that supply them. Now, when the body is in a proper posture, the spine is aligned, the shoulders are back, and the chest is open. This allows blood vessels to be in an optimal position, which can help to improve blood flow to the ears. Additionally, good posture can also help reduce muscle tension and improve circulation throughout the body, which can also help reducing the tinnitus symptoms again. So in summary, good posture is so important to improve that blood flow and reduce that pressure. So consequently, bad posture can exacerbate the problem. It's important to consult with a healthcare professional if you're experiencing symptoms of tinnitus. They can help determine, and this is important, the underlying cause and recommend appropriate treatment options. So, quite a long one, but in conclusion, see, tinnitus is a condition that affects millions of people worldwide. It can range from a minor annoyance, as we said earlier, to a debilitating condition. It's important to seek professional help if you're experiencing symptoms. With proper diagnosis and treatment, the symptoms of tinnitus can be effectively managed. It is important to know that while tinnitus can be a frustrating, disruptive condition, it's not typically a serious or life-threatening condition. However, if you are experiencing tinnitus, it's important to speak with a healthcare professional to determine the underlying cause and to receive the appropriate treatment plan. Now, overall, tinnitus is a condition that affects many people, but with the right treatment and lifestyle changes, it can be managed and the symptoms can be reduced and it can be more than livable. If you experience tinnitus, have a word with your own healthcare professional or have a look at some of the information on here. There's more, but you need a treatment plan and a way to manage yours because everybody is different. And this is the thing with tinnitus. As I say, I had it for many years and to be fair, I used herbal supplements, and I'll put some links to ones in below. But, you know, for these, it's a completely waste of time for helping people. And it depends how you respond. You know, there's all these types of treatments that you can use. Have a look at them. I think the most important thing is that it can be costly. I would try certainly some of the less costly ones or the free ones first before going into, you know, cognitive behavioral therapy where you pay and it can take months and many visits to a therapist for this. So although, you know, it's complementary therapies can be helpful in managing the symptoms of tinnitus, they should not be used as a substitute for conventional medical treatment. You know, you've always got to speak to your doctor first and don't rule out complementary therapies, although many doctors, I must admit, are quite open to complementary therapies. Some are still dinosaurs and stuck in the past and think it's all a load of nonsense. It isn't. It can be really effective and work. One thing I do wish, though, is that you all try something, get the help you need, and I hope it works out for you if you use some of these methods that I've mentioned in this video. So I'd like to wish you all good health. Take care. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.